The fishing news is brought to you by Interlux Marine Paint, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.
Well, you know in the summer when you're the first to break the inlet at dawn to enjoy a couple of hours of quiet fishing time all to yourself before the fleet arrives? Well, welcome to the fall run at the Jersey Shore. I'm Jim Hutchinson with a New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. And yes, summer's definitely over and the stripers are here, as evidenced by the fleet of boats working along the central and North Jersey coast since Saturday. Big things happening Saturday. It started off on the North Coast. By Sunday, things started to break in the North Central Coast. And of course, on Monday, everything was still completely on fire. Let's go back to Saturday. Joe Esposito, he pinned the reel seat scale north of 50 pounds on Saturday. I'm getting all these reports, talking to people. The bass were exploding on bunker on Saturday, up around the Manasquan Inlet area, down Bayhead, Maniloking, all the way down to Lavalette, where by Sunday, these fish seemed to show Lavalette into Seaside, all the way down to Island Beach. We found them, schools of fish, schools of bass, busting on those bunker. Cookie cutter, 20-pounders, although if you went deeper like John Lutchka did, he had taken some of his liveys, went into 30 feet of water, and did pretty well just outside the schools. Lo and behold, by the beginning of the week, I'm hearing from Sean Riley out of Ocean City that perhaps he's found some of those fish arriving in South Jersey. Actually, I talked to Sean this week, and he said he had gone up to LBI to find some of those stripers, which just south of LBI by Tuesday, that's where Josh and Claude were. Those guys, their crew, were trolling the Riptide Mojos just south of LBI, brought them back to Brigantine for weigh-in. And it seems to me, it always comes out this way, that the trolling seems to be the most effective way of catching those bigger fish. Whether you're in central North Jersey, going out past the Shrewsbury Rocks, going out to the fence, trolling in 50 to 60 feet of water, it always seems to produce some of those big fish. From tedium to apathy, however, though, I know it's monotonous. But he says the same thing. You're trolling those Rapalas, the Stretches, the Bomber CDs, the Maja Spoons, or the Mojos. But again, trolling those outfits, those big plugs, those big spoons, and those big Mojos, great way to deliver some big fish. And it's especially effective, or it was last year, November into December, those Mojos especially, down along the southern coast. So stock up on them now, because it looks like the run is definitely underway. Of course, on those times when you could press in near the beach and find those bait schools in tight, and of course finding the bass when they're doing their theatrics and pushing those 20 and 30 pound bass, or pushing those bunker, and the bunker are going airborne, you know you've got it, and you've got it good. Good numbers of fish through Tuesday morning, as a matter of fact. The action was a little bit off on by midweek. A lot of bunkers still out there. The whales working over the bunker schools as well. But any of the folks that I've talked to that did well by middle of the week really had to get away from the fleet and find the fish all their own. But hopefully the fish will be back again this week with the westerlies that we've got forecast, and I'm sure the fleet will be back on them as well. When you're looking for those bunker schools, I like to take two outfits. One, the spin tackle, kind of a good stout spin tackle rod with maybe a pen live liner feature on there, the spinning reel, the live liner. Like to use braid, because when we're snagging bunker, if you throw the cast net, then you've got it made. Put a bunch in the live well to start going at it. But if you're snagging, the braid seems to, when it's touching the backs of the bunker schools, you can feel it vibrating along the line. It makes it easier to snag some of your bait. I don't use a fish finder on there. Snag them, bring them back, put them on that second outfit. Bring a conventional out there that I'll stick away from the braid. Go with the mono. That's the one where I'll put the fish finder on there. And whether we're bringing the live bunker back to put it in a live well, or in a bucket to keep, or an aerated bait tank, or an aerated bucket, I like to use that second outfit. I often find that that's a lot more effective. Now, going back to that spin tackle as well, I know the guys like to snag and drop, but with that spinning outfit too, with a dual lock at the end, whether it's a treble, a weighted treble, or you can also put the plugs on there. Danny DePasquale has been lighting up the fish since Saturday, and in terms of live line, and that was working, but he started going to some of those swimmers and also the pencils and the poppers and doing just as well. So that's great with the spin tackle. Sunday into Monday, Central Coast. Some of the surfcasters got into the snag and drop when those bass pushed the bunker in close enough. Although a lot of guys like Carlos Flores here using the little neck popper, the Super Strike little neck popper. Great casting distance on that one and taking up some fish on the artificial. Some of the pencils are working as well. Carlos did an excellent job. This 45-incher that he released back to swim again. It has been hit or miss, stick and move, run and gun, any way you look at it. Sometimes it's hunt and peck. But you got to work to find some of these hot schools, and you can also expect to find a few big bluefish in the mix as well. Fished the LBI, the Seashell Striper Derby over the weekend. Some of the guys that were trolling bunker spoons were getting knockdowns from some giant bluefish, high teens and low 20s, real dreamboat fish there. Joe Barbieri, he sent a note, 19-pounder that he caught while fishing with John Gibbons earlier in the week. And I say dreamboat because Joe here is not a Fisherman subscriber. But we're getting more of those giant bluefish, especially from the guys up in New York, some upper teens, low 20s. I'm shocked that we've only got one black sea bass from the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region right now on the leaderboard. Folks, you got to get out there, the black sea bass. We've got our 15 fish bag limit again. Get out there on the party boats and bring some of those 5 and 6 pound knuckleheads back to weigh in for your chance to win that Cobia Center console, because I truly think that it's going to come down to black sea bass and bluefish and perhaps some big tog this month. That could be the difference in that new Cobia Center console that we're going to be giving away at the end of this year. Now, keep this in mind while you're working over the bunker schools. Keep a look over your shoulder. See some of these guys. And in terms of dreamboat, I'll tell you, boat whales don't count. We'll see you next week.
The fishing news is brought to you by Intellux Marine Paint, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.